Today you're going to be starting the cartoon scale drawing project. Now you should have all received a miniature cartoon character by now. Let's go ahead and take him. On this PowerPoint we're going to be using Mario, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dilating our character to make him bigger. He's still going to be proportional and everything's just going to stay the same. It's just going to be a larger image. Now to start your project you want to take your character and you want to put a ruler right next to him. And you're going to do markings. Now on mine, I'm going to mark it every ½ millimeter. You can use a centimeter, you can use a ½ centimeter, you can use a ½ inch. You don't want to go too big because then you'll make the project harder. So I'm going to go ahead and start marking my project. And notice how I'm marking every ½ centimeter. And I want to do that all up along the left side and on the right side. And the reason I want to do that is because when I connect these, I will have straight lines. So you should have something that looks like this with markings on the left side and markings on the right side. Go ahead and grab your ruler and connect your first two markings on the top and draw a straight line. Do the same thing with the next markings and then the third and so on. So you can see now that you're going to have straight lines going all across. Once you finish connecting all this, you'll have something that looks like this. A bunch of horizontal lines going down. Now what you want to do is the same exact thing to the top and the bottom of your picture. We want to go ahead and mark those with the same scale that we used on the left and on the right side. I used ½ millimeter markings, so I got to continue with that on the bottom and on the top. Once you've marked it up, it should look something like this. We're going to connect the markings just like we did before. The first ones going to connect together, and the second ones and third one, and so on. And this is what you should have on at the end. It's going to look like you just laid graph paper over your cartoon character. Now I would recommend that you label your cartoon character grid with letters and the alphabet. And the reason you want to do that is because when you start drawing your cartoon character on the bigger paper, you're going to lose track as to where certain things go. For example, where does his eye go? Where does his button go? Where is his finger at? You know, you're going to lose track and you're going to have to count over and over where you're at. But if you've got these letters in alphabet, for example, if I were to look at Mario's button, I know that he's in row I in column 5. So right here at I5, I should do a button on the bigger paper. If I looked at his eye, it's at E7. So I know that at square E7, I should have an eye. And you're going to see how this is useful once you get started on your project. Now on your blank sheet of paper, we're going to do the same exact thing that we just did with Mario, with your cartoon character. We're going to mark the left side and the right side, but we're going to use a different scale because we're making it bigger. I'm going to use a 1-inch scale. You can choose to do a different scale if you'd like. And I'm going to mark the left side of my paper and the right side of my paper, and I'll have something that looks like this. And we're going to connect the lines with the ruler just like you did with your cartoon character, and we should have a bunch of horizontal lines once we've done that. Go ahead and do the same markings on the top and on the bottom of your paper, and then connect them and make your vertical lines. So now you have something that looks like graph paper. On this graph paper, you need to go ahead and mark your letters and your numbers just like you did on your cartoon character. Now on here, if we remember, Mario's button was at I5, which is right here. So in this box, there should be a circle here drawn because that is where his button is. I can keep track of where certain things go so I don't draw it in the wrong spot. If you end up drawing it in the wrong spot, you may have to do a lot of erasing, or your picture just may not look right at the end. That is, you need to start drawing. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.